well, and all of a sudden we just dropped the ball. No, we didn't. And as the game continued to, take on its own identity, we ran a set again. Once again, could have called a timeout, didn't. They came down, they ran a set, got the ball inside, and won. We go back up 5, go back up 7, go back up 9, and then from there, but there it is again.
It's that moment.
Yeah, it's that moment right there. You start to you want to second guess yourself, but you go back to trusting your kids and believing in your kids, and then they just responded. And every year, every time this year, they did that. We were in South Carolina playing in the Piggly Wiggly Rotary Classic down there, playing against 3 of the better teams that I've seen. Heck, the first game, we come out against Goose Creek. Art Shell's nephew plays on that team. He's 6'9", 270. He's going to South Carolina as a defensive end. They started 6'9", 6'6", 6'8", 6'10", and they had a 6'3" point guard.
Wow.
That's
insane.
Oh my goodness. We were like,
major college front court.
And we looked at that. We was like, well, man, but the kids, they bought into the way that we were going to approach it. Got over that hump, and they were the defending 4A champs. So the gym was packed. Everybody, oh man, this is our team. This is the team in South Carolina. This, this, that, and the other. And who is it? Yeah, these scrawny little guys. You got a 5'8" point guard. You got another 5'8" guard. What are they getting ready to do to us? Well, they believed in what we needed to do, and we kind of got it done. Well, then the next night we play against James Island, team that's out of South Carolina. They were the 3A. They were number 1 in the 3A division. They had a 6'6" kid, 6'8" kid, and 2 6'4" guards. And like I say, they're growing big in the South, baby.
Yeah,
they're growing big in the South. But we battled. We found a way to kind of get over that hump. And then the next night we played against the St. John prep team out of DC, as good a team as I've seen. And the interesting thing is they weren't going to be wooed and wowed about our speed and about our ability to kind of get up and down the floor. And they play in the DC Catholic League with DeMatha, with Gonzaga Prep. So they weren't getting ready. They looked at us like, but once again, our style of play, our attention to detail, our ability to kind of frustrate them and take away some things, kind of won out. And though all that kind of prepared us for the culmination of what we had last Saturday.
So, when we think about it, also remember this is a live call-in television show. You can call in, talk to Coach Mark Mitchell from TAF. TAF Information Technology High School.
Robert A. Taft.
Robert A. Taft.
Information
Technology High School. Or TAFT. More familiar, those more familiar to the program know it. Live call-in television show, 651-3036. Moving from the semifinal to the final, what did you do? Did you olive oil? Did you rub their heads down with olive oil? Was there some voodoo dolls? Did you import some holy water from Rome? And did you get a call from President Obama? I'm just trying to figure out, going into that championship game, after you saw that there was a close encounter against Afrocentric out of Columbus, and then now you're in the finals. Right. What was that night before the final, the championship game, and the day, because it was a 4:30 start, what did that night before and that day leading up to the game, what did that look like for you, Mark?
Well, what we tried to do is we tried to paint the picture, because you try to give the kids some similarities of teams that you might have played before, and some of the things that they did, some of the things that this team does versus some of the things that you have seen or witnessed throughout the year. And the Central Catholic team was just like Withrow. So the picture that we painted was, fellas, let's understand something. We have been prepared for this moment all year, and here's why. First of all, our league is a back-to-back league. We play Friday night, Saturday night. So this isn't nothing new, playing Friday night, Saturday night. The turnaround is no problem. So, all right, let's focus in on that. The second thing, you're playing a team that's very, very similar to Withrow. All right, Withrow, you beat them. So what should we be able to do with this team? You should be able to beat them. But let's focus on how we beat Withrow and the things that we needed to do to beat Withrow. What did we do to Withrow the first time? We got it into an up and down game. So what do we do to Central Catholic? Got it in an up and down game. And you know, if we needed to kind of, you know, do some of the grind stuff that we needed the second time we played Withrow, we were gonna be prepared for that, because Withrow was as big as anybody we had played all year long, as big and as talented as anybody we had played all year long. So, you know, once our kids started to understand what they did and how we approached the Withrow game the first time as well as the second time, if we needed to make an adjustment in there. Once we kind of got that stamped down and get the kids to understand that, then it was just, okay, let's get into our pregame ritual. And we got some pregame things that we do every game, every day. We got this thing that we call 20-minute shooting. And you know, my sons are at Walsh University playing up there, and they shoot the ball a lot up there. They shoot threes, and they believe in shooting threes. Well, they do a couple drills that I took from them that we do every pregame. And our kids buy into it, and they trying to score, trying to get a certain number. So in 20 minutes, they got to get 150 makes in 20 minutes. So that's 10 minutes a kid. So in 10 minutes, you got to get 150 makes. So with that mindset, we take that mindset on the court with us. We got to make shots. When I get shots, I got to make shots. I'm in rhythm. I'm straight up and down. Bang, let's go. So when I get this penetrating pitch, I'm knocking down this shot. Well, once we got that mindset together, coupled along with, you know, how we attacked and beat Withrow, we were ready to go that next night, that next day against Cleveland Central Catholic. You know, the one thing about Cleveland Central Catholic that our kids noticed, they have a player on that team, Anton Grady. He's a senior, 6'8" kid, can play. His leadership was just unbelievable. He could get his kids, the kids on his team, his teammates, he would not let them falter. He would not let them get down on themselves. He was always picking them up. Wow. And our kids kind of looked at that and used that as a measuring stick. Are we doing that? You know, and they looked at themselves, are we picking each other up like that? And because of Orlando Berry, little O, he's like, man, you see how he's picking up it? Man, we got to do that. That's how we got to be together like that. And he actually gave us a blueprint of how to do it. Because see, we scrimmaged them early in November, and you know, we beat them by 1. But you know, scrimmages, you really don't take a whole lot. But the thing that we took away from that, and the kids took away from that, was how great a leader he was. Wow. And all year long, that's what Didi, Too Tall, Marquez, Little O, Kadeem, all of them, they all, you know, Jalen, Chris, they all tried to pick each other up like that. And that was a small thing. For them
to see it, right, hearing it from you was different.
Right, and see another kid.
Seeing another kid
do it. Oh my goodness.
That peer leadership, I think about a Tim Tebow leadership at Florida. You think of, and for me, and we haven't gotten any free tickets from Marvin and Coach Lewis yet. That's what we're lacking from the Bengals. Until I get a free ticket, I can scorn the Bengals now. We haven't. I've been begging for tickets for years, and I ain't got a free ticket yet. But it's what the Bengals like on offense and defense. It's the leadership on the field that you need, and certainly having somebody who's an all-pro, it's easier for people to listen to somebody who's an all-pro. Right. So I think that if you have an all-pro who's a leader at the NFL level, and of course you know more about that than I do, that you have to have someone like a Ray Lewis personality that does it, been doing it for 15 years, going out 13, you know, all-star games, been an NFL all-pro 13 years. They do it on the court. When you look at Kobe, what Kobe now does, versus where he started. You look at Michael Jordan, where he was and where he ended, is that people, at the end of the day, you empower your athletes to be leaders in those situations because they're on the court with the kids. So they're on the court with the players. And so for me, when I was in high school and looking at the opportunities, it was always about what do you do when times are rough. It's not about who's a voted captain. It's about who steps up and is a leader on that court. And I think that for them to see that from this kid from Cleveland Central Catholic, that's something that will stay with them for a while, for a lifetime, because they saw the impact of leadership and motion. And so that's huge. Exactly. So when we think about the history of high school basketball in Cincinnati, for Cincinnati public schools, what number championship? Is this not the second? Just the second?
It's the second one. Woodward, they won the first one, but the interesting thing between the correlation between the two is unbelievable. Orlando Berry Sr. was on that team and won the state championship. Orlando Berry Jr. was on this team and won the state championship. And the common denominator in all that is DeMarco Bradley. He was on that '88 state championship at Woodward, and he was my assistant head coach on this state championship team. So, you know, I think success kind of, you know, follows you in your life. You know, like I said, I've been fortunate enough, you know, being at Princeton High School and, you know, being with, you know, Coach Mancuso and being able to win.
They were good.
Yeah.
So were you part of that holy butt whipping in 1982-83 that Moeller came over and waxed that?
Yeah. I mean, I remember that. But, you know, I hold the
waxed that.
I hold the dubious distinction of being 4-1 against Moeller, and really thumping Moeller as you know. So a lot of people say the Moeller mystique. A lot of people say the Moeller mystique. I just wasn't never part of it, you know, because
that was a weak team. That was a weak Moeller team, though. In all fairness.
Guess what? Were they Moeller?
Plus 85 was a weak team.
Were they Moeller?
Yeah,
okay, then when they was Moeller.
So we grew up in Little League together.
Right.
They were older than me. I was little.
Yeah.
They were 2 years older than me. You know, a year, 2 years older than me. I was the little one.
Yeah.
And, then I was the Moeller, he was the Prince, and then I came back to Wynwood Sports Park with Woods. But but that's a huge thing. I mean, when you think about the impact of what that means for the city, that to me it was impressive.
Yes.
To look at it. I also have to say that you were calmer this year than in the last few years.
Yes.
You were a lot calmer. I don't know. I mean, it was a different Mitchell.
Yeah.
I mean, Coach Mitchell. I mean, there was no cheers across the floor. I mean, women and children could be within 100 feet, but there's 500 feet because Coach Mitchell has a 500-foot zone.
Yeah.
For women and children. So what happened, man? What did you go to Gandhi?
Nah,
what happened?
I tell you what it was, you know, my sons, I kind of got that way towards the end of last year when my twin boys were wrapping up their senior year, and they were having a really good senior year, and the kids were all getting along, and everything was going on. You know, in years past, I was always on edge because you found yourself trying to plug holes on, you know, different ones, you know, kids getting in trouble, kids being over here, kids, you know, not doing this, and, you know, then you're trying to raise money so that the kids can have shoes, and you're trying to do this so that the kids can, and you end up doing so much is that, you know, once you got to the game, you know, you never got a chance to wind down to enjoy coaching the game. Well, as I got kids who were, you know, who could handle, you know, a little more of the freedom of you know, making sure they got here, making sure they got there, making sure that the work got done that needed to get done in the classroom, making sure that the work was done right on the court. Once I was able to kind of get to that point, I was able to kind of relax and just sit back and really enjoy what it was and enjoy my kids, you know, doing what they're doing. And then this year, I could focus on this year differently, primarily because of my daughters. You know, my daughters, you know, they're freshmen at Princeton. You know, a lot of people have you know, seen some of the exploits that Kelsey and Chelsea have kind of, you know, displayed in their freshman year. So I couldn't get too upset because I had to go see them play. And, you know, so the work that I had to do with my team, I didn't spend as much time with them as I had in years past. So practices were, and it's crazy because practices were a little more organized, they were a little more detailed because we had to be out at a certain time because I had to go see my daughters play. But we still had to get X, Y, and Z done. And here's the funny thing, the kids bought into that. And they said, well, we know Coach Mitch is leaving, so if we just go hard for an hour and 15 minutes, we ain't gonna be in here any longer. So let's go harder. Let's go.
You shortened it, went more intense.
Yeah. And got more accomplished.
Kelsey and Chelsea.
And I got more accomplished. And not only that, they were able to kind of enjoy watching Kelsey and Chelsea because they would come to the game. And they were like, Coach Mitch, can I come to the game? And I'm like, yeah, let's go. And they would enjoy watching Kelsey.